Okay, so I'm not sure if that's exactly how it was played. Kind of my rendition of one of my favorite Stevie Guitar Miller tunes, Jungle Love. One of the few things I know of that he played a 12 string so prominently on. And I'm kind of making this up as I go along. Oh yeah, just in case you're wondering, I'm Jack Van Breen from Guitar Showcase in San Jose, California. Bay Area's premier vintage guitar store. Enough rambling here. It's been a long week and I'm going to be a little unfocused. I hope you don't mind. We're going to talk a little bit about Ibanez Guitars today. Ibanez is an interesting company. I don't have a lot of personal detailed knowledge of the company itself. I understand they've been around for a while, but my experience with Ibanez started in the early middle 70s when they started coming out with very cost-effective copies of well-known instruments. Their most popular instrument was a copy of the infamous Gibson Les Paul, and they made millions of them. They were known for being very affordable and also not real wonderful. They were just really a low-cost instrument, synonymous with the transistor radios out of Japan in the 50s that, yeah, they worked sort of, but they were really cheap. And they did that for a lot of years, and then Gibson and Fender kind of had a chat with the Japanese luthiers of the time and said, you know, we actually have patents on these things, and if you want to do business in the US, which is the only market that has any money for them right now, you probably should build different guitars. And then at that point, some of the Japanese luthiers went away. Some of them went to work for Fender. The early Squiers are excellent instruments and well sought after. And some of them, like Ibanez, decided to build nicer guitars in their own style. And around the mid-70s, around 77, 76, they came out with the Artist series, which was a very high quality instrument, fine crafted, nice maple tops, mahogany back and sides. Some of them were neck through, some of them were glued neck, but they were just a magnitude better in quality from what Ibanez was making at the time with their throwaway copy Les Pauls. And they became quite popular with a lot of famous artists, as I just did the little Stevie thing. And in fact, Mr. Miller was very happy and proud to become an Ibanez endorsee, and this instrument is one of the 4 instruments he toured in the mid to late 70s as an Ibanez endorsee. Coil tapping switches and a bunch of other cool stuff. They went to a really massive, long throw, tune-o-matic style bridge. In those days it was thought the more mass on the guitar, the better sustain, which is true to a lot of extent. Stage guitar, 78 through 79. Steve Miller signed this one, but this is, these were his touring guitars. They were working instruments. And that's a long way from $150 barely stay in tune, really crappy pickup Ibanez copy to professional grade working instruments. Bob Weir of the Grateful Dead for a lot of years played Artist guitars. John McLaughlin had a double neck, 6 and 12. They're very popular in that time frame. And they went from there. They started branching out to other things. They did some really nice archtop instruments. George Benson has a signature model. I want to say Pat Metheny, but I know that's wrong. Signature model archtops. And then they also became very popular in a market that Gibson and Fender were not pursuing so heavily, which is the heavier edge metal thrash thing, which I don't do very well. But this is an RG4, I always forget, 470. And they're really well known for a large radius, a 12-inch radius, very flat neck, very low action, locking trim systems, high output pickups that really lend themselves to the speed metal kind of performer. And you see a lot of touring level musicians playing the Ibanez guitars today, and very well made, but also very cost effective. The bulk of their range is in instruments from the $200 to $800-900 instruments. Great guitars, play well. Not really my cup of tea because I'm a more traditionalist blues kind of guy, but very cool. For a lot of years I just kind of, Ibanez wasn't on my radar, although I did have a Strat copy Ibanez for a little while in the late 70s. I preferred the Gibsons and the Fenders, and I never really thought about it until one day I came in the store, we were opening up, and this little beastie was sitting on the counter. And I went, ooh, cedar top, nice wood banging, rosewood. Kind of a mid-rangey, swampy tone. And after wandering around the store for about an hour playing this guitar, I said, anybody know anything about this guitar? And no, we don't know where it came from. And Dan said, yeah, we just got that in. And I said, oh, we discussed the price and I took it home. Because it's a very well-made instrument. And I think it retails for in the $500-600 range, which means street somewhere between $350, $450. Solid top. I'm reasonably certain we have a laminated back and side, rosewood, but it's a good sounding guitar. Has the B-band licensed acoustic electronics. So Ibanez went from a company that in the early 70s just was getting a toehold in the market by selling very affordable, marginal to okay instruments, to building high-level touring quality instruments, and now pretty much owns the metal market. Well, they share it with some other people, but they still are a major player. Again, they're offering really high quality instruments for a really reasonable amount of money. They're one of our favorite vendors here at Guitar Showcase because we like to get people into instruments they love at prices they can afford. And, that's pretty much where we ought to be these days. So, I'm Jack from Guitar Showcase for Totally Guitars. Thank you for paying attention.